Welcome to the next episode of VCF Breakroom Chats. I'm Shobhit Bhutani, Product Marketing Manager here at VCF Division Broadcom, and I'm the Product Marketing Lead for AI/ML and Gen AI. I lead the messaging and positioning of AI/ML. In this series, we bring VMware and partner experts to discuss VMware's vSphere, VMware Private AI, and all associated products. These fabulous experts also share their backgrounds, industry trends, and general tips for IT technical experts and our customers. Today, I'm very excited to talk to Himanshu Singh, Director of Product Marketing, Compute, Kubernetes, and Private AI in today's episode. Today, we will discuss VMware Private AI. Welcome, Himanshu.
Thank you, Shobhit. I'm super excited to be here.
Wonderful. So let's jump right in, Himanshu. You've done these with us several times, but fresh year, we're kind of doing a reswizzle of this new, this episode series again. So now Gen AI and AI/ML is no longer like, hey, what's the new thing anymore, right? It's the hot, crazy, fast-moving space. What's the new trends you're seeing in Gen AI these days?
Yeah, indeed, it's not new anymore. Although, if you look at your news, I think all you hear is about something new or the other that's happened in the AI space, right? So
Absolutely.
whether it is kind of DeepSeek being announced or the Turbo AI now coming in from Tencent and everything, and then all sorts of investments being made, right? There's just like hundreds of billions of dollars of investments being at least promised by large corporations, right? So clearly, AI and Gen AI is driving the conversation in the industry. There's no question about that, specifically in the tech space. But it's fascinating to see how much growth we've seen in this space in such a short amount of time, and the amount of innovation that's happening, right? So I think all the key vendors are making sure that they are investing in this space, including, of course, Broadcom, right? So we've had a ton of work that we've been doing in this, prior to before the hype started, of course, but of course, then lately as well. So a lot of evolution in terms of the capabilities we're delivering through what Broadcom does. There's also, from an industry perspective, there's all sorts of things happening where you have an evolution of different use cases, etc. I think a lot of customers are now getting started with things like internal chatbots and those kind of things, and then making sure that they are leveraging AI tools to support their customer sales reps, for example. A lot of document summarization and search type of capabilities. They are becoming extremely common at this point in time, and I think as we move forward, we'll see a lot more of this kind of newer use cases emerging that are a lot more, I think, vertical centric. So that's another kind of key area. Agentic AI, I think, is the talk of the town at this point in time. I think that's a big one for sure. That's becoming very common, and I think everybody's kind of starting to build frameworks around it to support it and to make sure that customers are able to leverage that very quickly and build agents, etc. There's all sorts of geopolitical aspects on AI as well, but we don't want to go there. We'll talk about from as a vendor, what are we investing from a technology perspective? Yeah, but fascinating space right now, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then, if I may just add one quick thing, multimodal AI is, I think, going to add a whole different interesting twist to agentic AI. You combine those two technologies, and now you're moving into some very interesting space, right?
Yep.
How do you do videos, documents, document searches, things like that, search your videos, search things, stuff like that. To me, when you combine those, that's when it gets to really fascinating space.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely multimodal adds a whole new perspective on broadening that use case. And again, for different types of audiences, they want to consume information in different ways, right? Not everybody wants just a text-based response. So I think multimodal does a fantastic job there to just make it easier and faster to give you responses. Yeah.
Amazing. What's the top factors in your mind, right, that enterprises should consider when they're choosing a Gen AI platform?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is going to be about, I would say, enterprises, first of all, need to choose a Gen AI platform not a Gen AI service. I think that's I think the big mindset as well, because there's a lot of options where you've got specific things that are coming in and you want to consume those and you want to leverage those. But given the fact that the space is evolving so fast, so any enterprise that is looking to build things in-house instead of purely consuming a service, they need to think of an overall platform approach to generative AI. And then when you think about a platform approach, I think you gotta there's like multiple aspects that you have to think about, right? One, I think the paramount is going to be the aspect of privacy, like, which is why as Broadcom we talk about private AI as an extremely important piece in terms of just your fundamental approach to how do you leverage AI, right? So privacy of the data, privacy of your internal IP and the insights that are coming out from from the model, privacy in terms of protecting the access to all this information. I think that's very important. So choosing a platform that is enabling all that, I think is number one. The other thing I would say is around, hey, the platform needs to be more future ready, right? So the more flexibility there is, the more from an architecture perspective, the easier it is for you to swap things in and out, for example, or build the stack, up or down as you need to, for example, scale up, scale down, as your use cases evolve and you need to bring in a different language model, whether it is LLM or SLM, for example. I think those kind of things are important, just from the perspective of flexibility and an ecosystem. I think that's a key piece of the platform. So you don't want to be bound by a platform with a limited ecosystem, right? Just because the space is evolving so quickly. And then I think one other aspect I would add is just making sure that the platform is able to bring in your AI and Gen AI workloads into the enterprise fabric. What you do not want is to create yet another silo with its own idiosyncrasies of and the tool sets to manage them, etc. What you want is to bring it in and be able to run it and manage it the way your kind of enterprise IT runs other kind of tier one workloads, right? And then there's basic things like, hey, what does it mean to run a tier one workload as part of an enterprise fabric? You got to think about performance. You got to think about, the right level of control, for example, security, compliance, etc., etc. So those things are key. So while this is new, you still got to think about Gen AI as a typical tier one business critical workload, and so the platform that you choose needs to make sure that it is be able to address all those kind of needs and get you ready for what's coming in the future.
Excellent. And so, why do we position ourselves as that platform? Why does VCF position itself as a platform? What do you think about that?
Yeah, if you think about like VMware Cloud Foundation, the big thing that happened with the acquisition of VMware by Broadcom was to bring all these different kind of components that we had, all the value and all the intellectual property that VMware had, to bring it all together to really make it into one product, one cohesive platform that serves the needs of traditional as well as modern workloads, right? So the idea of super integrating all these components to make them behave in one way as a single product, the idea of being able to completely re-architect, for example, our core compute offering, right, vSphere, by building Kubernetes into it, and that goes across the board. Because again, being able to run AI workloads means that you need to have a platform that is really great at running both VMs and containers, being able to manage it through Kubernetes, for example, and that's I think the most prevalent way in which AI workloads are being deployed and run these days, right? So there's kind of that aspect of it. But even beyond that, at a more fundamental level, I talked about earlier, like platform that needs to be future proof and have a flexible architecture, etc. Same time, like you got to have that platform that is able to leverage a variety of capabilities from core components, right? So with VCF, customers get the compute, storage, networking, management, automation, orchestration, like all those capabilities well integrated into a single platform. And that's a huge difference compared to maybe other alternatives available when it comes to an on-prem type of environment, because you may not get that level of integration, that level of consistency of operations in other places. And so VCF is in that unique position. So it has a very distinct advantage by able to leverage all the components it has in a very cohesive, integrated way to really optimize how Gen AI workloads are deployed on top of it, right? So all the layers of of vSphere, vSAN, NSX, bringing your compute, storage, networking, management, and all that together is is not a mean feat, right? So the fact that as a vendor, we're making sure that you have that well-integrated platform means that as a customer, when you're using the platform, you don't have the headache of managing all these different components as silos anymore, right? You're looking at it as a platform versus a collection of components that have come together. So the huge difference in terms of kind of how you kind of manage it overall, right? So that unified approach is a big thing. The other piece I would highlight is, as the VMware by Broadcom kind of technology has evolved over time, like we've been the industry leader when it comes to things like memory management or things like CPU scheduling, for example. So when it comes to fundamentals of running workloads in your environment, how you think about VM density that actually translates into significant capex savings upfront. That's important because when you are thinking of running a Gen AI workload, you're putting in a significant amount of investment, right? And so making sure that you can squeeze the most amount of performance and the best TCO from your environment is key. So things like the distributed resource scheduling capabilities we have, the memory management capabilities we have, where we're able to deliver similar or in some cases better than bare metal performance while giving you all the benefits and of like easier and flexible management that virtualization brings is huge, right? So so there's that, I think, is a big kind of value prop. The other thing I would say is because VCF again comes with like built-in software-defined networking capabilities, right? So specifically for Gen AI workloads, you've got requirements when it comes to things like bandwidth and latency, etc., and that's taken care of because of the level of networking capabilities well integrated into the platform. So significant benefits there. I think overall, I would say as a CEO, CIO, as you think about what are my, capex from a platform perspective, how do I look at opex on an ongoing basis? How is this platform providing security and resilience, right? And that's a huge piece of what VCF delivers as well. I think those 2 or 3 things are very, very fundamental to any decision maker, right? So I think that's where VCF absolutely shines for all types of workloads, and in this context of this conversation, specifically generative AI workloads. So we're very excited that we're able to build VCF in the way that customers can leverage for the Gen AI workloads. I think there's just huge value there for customers.
Fantastic. I think you give a very comprehensive overview there. So last question, right, is some customers are not looking for very intense large language Gen AI kind of workloads. They're looking more for the old school ML, right, for like credit rating and small analytical models, right? And so what's the thing that Broadcom is doing, right, or VMware Broadcom is offering to customers to help in that space?
So I brought up the point of like ecosystem earlier in the conversation, and this is where it becomes very important. So in the past and moving forward, like the idea with VMware has always been to make sure we provide the broadest ecosystem. We support as broad an ecosystem as possible, and that mindset basically has gone into how we're treating private AI and Gen AI as well. So there's multiple partnerships we have in this space in which we are enabling different types of use cases, right? So one of them is is about the partnership we have with Intel, which is we talk about it as VMware Private AI with Intel, right? And the idea there is for customers who are looking at smaller language models, for example, they want to be able to leverage, their CPU-based infrastructure for, let's say, inferencing, etc. They can absolutely do that. So they can still get the benefits of running their AI workloads on top of VCF, get the benefits of the Intel software stack on that as well, running it on like Intel Xeons and everything, right? We don't have a product to offer in this space, but we have both companies have done fantastic work together to provide a lot of technical guidance, reference architecture, etc. So customers can definitely use that. Now, so that's kind of at one end, right? And then this, customers who are looking for an offering that they can purchase that gives them like an end-to-end, fully supported, solution, and that's basically the VMware Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA offering that we have, right? And that's the one that I think it requires time to cover it in more detail and everything, but that's where we have this more than a decade-old partnership with NVIDIA that both companies have come together and created this joint platform for Gen AI workloads.
Fantastic. That was a great overview, Himanshu. Thank you so much. Coming to a close of this episode. Thanks a lot for joining me today, Himanshu.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity, and I think this is such an interesting topic to talk about, and always good to chat with you, Shobhit. So thank you.
Wonderful. And like the lead-in you were giving, Himanshu, we'll do the next one. Next episode will laser focus down to VMware Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA, which obviously is a massive, massive platform for us, right? And what we're doing for customers. So I had a lot of fun talking with you, Himanshu. We will be back next time with the next episode for laser focusing on Private AI Foundation with NVIDIA. And with that, we're coming to the end of this episode. If you like this episode, join for the next one. This is your host, Shobhit Bhutani, signing off. Have a fabulous day, evening, night, and week. Bye till next time.